Let's get more now on Narendra Modi's election win in India. I'm joined by Pawan Luthra, who is the editor of Indian Link, a magazine and website for the Indian diaspora in Australia. Pawan, thank you so much for joining us. Now, this was a mammoth count in India. Modi is back, of course, but the result much tighter than anyone expected. Tell us about the result.
It is. I would say it's amazing. The counting started at about 12:30. Australian time, and normally by about within 2 hours you'll have an idea as to who's going to win. In fact, we thought that we'll be done in the Indian Link office at about 2:30. We'll have our headlines out at 4:30. I'll be home for a nice dinner at 6:30. At 9 o'clock last night, we ordered pizzas in the office because we were still trying to understand where is all this going. So it's been an enormous victory for democracy and how a democratic country can work. It surprised everybody. The BJP Modi party had gone into this election wanting 400 of the 532 seats on offer. And they had called it far and wide that we want 400 seats. They ended the day on 240 seats. So that surprised and amazed everybody as to what exactly happened and why did the count come so small. The interesting thing is that today will be a fairly interesting day because the Modi party has not won the absolute majority. They have to go in coalition with another party to cross the threshold of 272 seats. Whereas the opposition, the India bloc, is going to try their level best to see if they can take back some of the coalition partners of the BJP Modi government. At the same time, I'm sure the BJP government is trying to see if they can get any of the partners in the coalition to come to their side. So I can guarantee you, Gemma, last night has been a lot of phone calls, a lot of horse trading going on as to which side will some blocks move. So it's been a fascinating 24 hours. And some people are calling it an earthquake in Indian politics.
Not a lot of sleep for you, I'm sure, Pawan. Now, who turned away from Modi or his party and why?
Well, the biggest impact was in the state of Uttar Pradesh, which is a state bigger than the United Kingdom. That was meant to be the heartland, the bread and butter for the Modi government. And he was expected to win all the seats. He hemorrhaged over there and lost a number of seats. So that's something which nobody saw coming. The youth turned away because there's massive unemployment in the youth of India. And they were not convinced by the campaigning which Narendra Modi had done in terms of, analysts have said that Modi campaigned on a lot of negative politics, communalism, the Hindus are being hunted down. He had a divisive policy, whereas what the youth wanted to know was more the positive side, a positive picture, that the country has 8% GDP growth. Internationally, it's respected. There's a lot of development going on in infrastructure. So he lost out on a lot of those people who would have voted for him. The other thing we need to remember is Modi has been in power for 10 years. And he had all the challenges of being an incumbent government, like you make promises and if you don't keep them, people remember. So a number of things worked against Narendra Modi, but we have to remember that brand Modi is still very strong. It's been tarnished, but not damaged. He and his party have still won 240 seats and the largest bloc of a party who's won these seats. So it'll be very interesting what the next few days bring. And Gemma, it will be very interesting that should he form government as to what Modi 3.0, which is a third term in parliament, would look like. What would he need to change both in himself and his policies to take the country forward for the next 5 years?
And looking in terms of global relationships, what do you think it means for the big one, the India-US relationship, but also here with us in Australia?
Look, talking about Australia first, two issues to look at. Number one are the trade arrangements. India and Australia signed initial trade agreement about a year and a half ago. The ECTA, which is about increasing trade between India and Australia. But the big gun, the big star at the top of the tree was the CECA, which opens up a lot of doors for Australian and Indian trade relationships and businesses to do well together. Now, I expect that will be put on the back burner because there will be more internal politics which Modi and his party would have to cater to rather than worrying about this. So I have a feeling that will have a bit of an impact from a trade relationship point of view. From the other point of view, where Australia is concerned, is the Quad, which is the alliance between Japan, US, Australia, and India. Now, I expect that to get stronger because should Donald Trump come back in power in November in the US, he and Modi have a very close relationship. They're very well aligned. And I think the Quad will become stronger and stronger because not only would Modi like to show off his international prowess, but also Trump. And I expect that will go more stronger. From an international point of view, I think India, as a burgeoning economy, one of the growing superpowers of the world, will still have the respect of the world. And the issue that the people of India, 660 million people voted, could go to a ballot box, put a tick against who they wanted to vote for, that there was pens rather than bullets, and they could chastise the leader, will gain the respect of the world.
Pawan Luthra from Indian Link, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Gemma.